Bryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm here today with Bryan Borzykowski.
You got it. You got
You
it.
got
Yep.
it first try.
Yep.
And before I let him introduce himself, because I'm sure he'll do a better job than I would, just a quick word about me and the show. So I'm Phil. I'm a partner at Webisoft. We build custom software, interested in interesting people. And so that's why we started the show. But really, it started as a way to get out there more on social medias and ideally learn about the industries that we try to serve as a consulting company. So, Bryan, you want to take a couple minutes, explain who you are, what you do?
Sure. First of all, thank you for considering me an interesting person. We'll see how this podcast goes,
We'll
and
see
then
if
you
that
can
proves
make
me
that
right.
determination. I am Bryan Borzykowski. I'm a longtime journalist. Started off as a music journalist, but there was no money in music journalism. That was 2004 when Napster was exploding the music industry, and so I went into business journalism, which I knew nothing about. But there is, the one thing I learned was supply and demand. And a lot of people didn't want to write about business. And I found it fascinating. So I started working at Canadian Business Magazine. I worked at Money Sense, Profit, magazines that have sort of don't exist and then came back. And it's unclear where they are now. But a lot of the magazines I used to work for kind of disappeared. But then I started working as a freelancer. I quit my job in 2010 and went out on my own and wrote for the New York Times, CNBC, BBC, Globe, all sorts of different places covering personal finance, business, investing. And a few years ago, I started my own agency, ALLCAPS Content, where we work with companies to create financial companies and healthcare organizations mainly to create content like articles, videos, podcasts, content strategies. And a lot of these companies need help talking to their customers, telling stories. And we bring that really editorial approach that I've learned through all of my years being a journalist to the corporate world and trying to make things easy to understand and interesting, and finding the stories in kind of the work that companies do. And it's been great. We have got a few employees. We've been growing pretty quickly, and especially in this world of AI, I think the need for authentic storytelling is going to be even more in demand, and that's where we can help.
So, actually, how has AI affected your job, I guess, or the industry?
Well, AI is, it's interesting. I remember like just when ChatGPT came out November 2022, the big reveal, and I start sweating and I'm panicking and like, what is this going to mean for us? And it took a while to really uh, kind of embrace it. I felt like, like I was like an old guy just resisting technological change. And
Yelling at clouds?
yeah, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Let's start like playing around with these things. And so in some ways, it's been interesting. AI has helped. So we, use AI, which I think in ways maybe a lot of people do, to just to help enhance the work we do. In that it can help with research. It can help kind of spark some ideas. We don't use it to write stories. I found that AI. I was worried, nervous that AI would take over our job and write. It cannot write the way that we write. We also, in our business, we're doing a lot of interviews and we're talking to people. Well, AI is not going to do the interviews for us. 70% of um, what we do is talking to people, finding the story, doing kind of the strategy, and maybe 30% is actually writing. I mean, the writing is takes maybe the longest, but you need the story, you need the questions, you need that before you write, or the story won't be any good. So AI is changing things in allowing us to be a little bit more efficient, but it's not, at least not now, threatening in a way that I had originally thought it would be. If anything, it makes, I think, what we do more important because we can build the content strategy. So it might impact people who are churning out, m- sort of marketing content where it's just bullet points. But for us, we're on a much higher end. We're like a higher level, again, bringing that journalistic work to what we do. And so, number one, it's hard to replace the writing with AI on that, but you need the strategy around it. So we can help build those strategies. Why are you even creating content? Why are you talking to your customers in the first place? Like, it's one thing to just write a few articles, but what is the reason behind it? What are the KPIs that we need to make sure this is successful? And so those things, AI won't replace. You need those people to kind of craft this, and maybe we'll use AI more in the future, maybe it will come a point where clients want us to use it for writing, and that might change, the fee structure a bit. I'm not sure yet, but I think it actually adds more value to what we do. Our job is to show our clients that we have that value. And so they don't think they can just use AI, that there is a reason to come to us. But I'm feeling more confidence about sort of our role in this ecosystem than maybe I did at the beginning when I didn't understand really what AI and ChatGPT and the other programs like that were about.
Yeah, I think, and it's the same thing for programming, by the way. When because when it's even like a new version gets released, right? And it's all the jazz and everybody's going crazy over it. And the first couple prompts that you make and the results really you come out of amazed at how like, oh my God, it's gonna change everything. But then obviously once you get past surface level a little bit, you kind of dig and you find, okay, yeah, it's not there yet. Right. So for a lot of things, that's true. I'm sure creative writing is the same. And like you said, like unless you really have a kind of a cookie cutter template that you're reusing all the time, it can't really replicate it. I guess you could train it, right? You could have like a specialized model trained on your way of writing, and then perhaps that could be a big help. Um, do you go out of your way to not use it when you write articles? Is that like even something that would go against your contract, for instance?
It's a good question. We've been sort of thinking about AI policies within our business and how how do we talk to our writers about it. A lot of our clients don't want us to use AI. I don't. Some say use AI to do something here, but a lot of them want that authentic writing. I think part of it is that it feels a bit ironic in a way, but the LLMs and Google and the search, like they're looking for authentic writing. They want real people. Like, so we do a lot of work where we don't have bylines on some of our stuff. It's just written by whatever the company that we work with. Some clients are asking us if we can put bylines on it. Not fake byline, real people writing the story using their, and because the searches want that real person and they
Mm,
want to look at who is a real person writing this, and they're looking for that stuff. And so we don't want our writers to use, we use a whole bunch of freelance writers to help. We have help craft stuff, and it's not just me writing but other people too. And so we do want them to not use AI to write. And what's AI, you can tell now in a lot of
yeah, you
ways.
can. Yeah.
And so it's hard to know, though. Sometimes if you got something back and you're like, is this just a good writer or is it? So you kind of got to look at that. But no, we don't. We don't go whatever we go. We use it for certain purposes, but we do not use it for writing. I will sometimes throw in something just to see what it comes out as, but
Yeah.
I'm always starting from scratch when I'm putting something together. Sometimes we use it for copy editing. It can fix grammar pretty well, but that's at the end of the process. And I think we should embrace it in a way that makes sense. But once we start writing with AI, I think that's a different conversation we need to have with our clients and see, first of all, what do they want? And second of all, it could change the way we charge for things and all that. And again, the AI is not there. So I don't want to be using it and giving someone subpar work just because AI has done something. 5 years from now, less, I don't know. I mean, that conversation could evolve, but
Or
right
even next
now,
week, the way things
well,
are going.
see, that's the thing though. It's interesting to me with technology sometimes. Like things move very fast, but they also move so slow. And you sort of have you think that things are going to dramatically change in days, weeks. I'm November 2022. I'm like, next year, oh my God, what's going to happen? Where are we going to be? But like, not that. I mean, we're using it more. Other people are using it more. It's changing certain things, but has not been the societal change that people are expecting. Maybe that will come, but it's not here yet. I don't think it'll be here next week. In a few years from now, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to overreact to AI either, where it's like doom or things are going to massively change, right? Like
Yeah.
again, these things move in a certain pace, it feels like to me.
Yeah, you can't really plan your business around an unknown, right? Like if it's a bit of a black box where like something may happen or not. And programming, I think it goes a little quicker than in your world. So for us, for instance, like one release over the other makes sometimes night and day difference
Yeah,
in terms of quality. Yeah.
maybe, and that may be true. And you're, to your point on planning, like we do have to, like when I think of I'm always thinking of the opportunities and the threats and all that
Hmm.
kind of SWOT analysis doing, once a year. And, AI is certainly both an opportunity and a threat. And so we have to be realistic about it. I don't want to be caught. Well, I've written a lot of stories on digital transformation before, and you always hear about the companies that don't embrace the cloud. And I mean, I think everyone kind of maybe does now, but a few years ago, if you don't do it, you're going to be left behind. You're going to be, eaten by your competition. And so those things are in the back of my head, right? Like, how do we make sure that this is in our minds, and we're not ignoring it so we don't get caught? We have to be thinking about this and thinking about how it's evolving our business. But again, we don't have to necessarily overreact and think, oh my god, we're done for. And so we just got to be aware of it, and that's and working with the tools, and that's kind of my thought on it, where we need to be aware and using, but not, you know ignoring it and feeling.
Yeah. Do you think just because, that there's so much volatility in terms of technology and new things, you have to be more nimble as a company?
I think so. I think you do. I think we're in a good spot for us. A company like ours, we're growing. We have some staff, and more staff than we did last year. We hired, 3 people last year. We went from like 3 to 6, and we're, thinking about more. And but there's a lot of agencies, whether it's advertising or other places, that have tons of people, right? And have been
Hmm.
built in a world where it was different.
Yeah.
And so I think those companies may be rethinking kind of the way that they operate and how they do that, and they can be less nimble. And I think that's something we need to think about too, is how do we grow and get the people we need? It's a very labor intensive business, writing and journalism. And it's not just writing. We do, yeah, videos, podcasts, all
Hmm.
sorts of different things. But how do we remain nimble and react to kind of these changes and what people want? And I think we're in a good spot because we're not so big, but we have to sort of watch that and be careful that we can still be in a place where we can react. One thing that's interesting is that a lot of companies have come to us to help them with LLM search and
Oh,
writing
okay.
stories. So we've actually gotten more work in some ways because of AI, that they need real people to write these stories and write it in a certain way. And so that's been interesting. And so we're starting to learn, like, what do our clients need when it comes to the stories that we're putting together, how are search engines functioning today, and all that kind of stuff. And we're still, learning about it. And so we need to be reactive or proactive, and talk to our clients about how they can get better on search. It's a big thing right now. Everybody is Google's impacting, or many people have been impacted by LMs, or Google search traffic is way down. So how do we get them to the top of that list, when you have the summary? So those are the things that we're getting questions about and doing more work around. So it's actually, yeah, it's not just, that was a big surprise. I thought maybe we would lose business because of this, at first, but actually we're getting business.
Yeah, like you said, it's an opportunity, right?
Yeah,
And a
yeah,
lot,
exactly.
if you're up to speed, you know the latest models, you know how they work, and you're subject matter expert in your field for that, like, yeah, absolutely can help. And in some ways, like maybe resistant to change, like I think that's where you'll get eaten alive. And the same way, for us, right? We have to embrace AI um, and be on the edge. Otherwise, obviously programming is changing every day. Um, how would you describe a typical day for you?
Um, let's see. I wake up at about
Yeah, that's good. Good start.
started about like my alarm sets at 6:15. I sort of hit snooze a couple times, probably 6:30. I'm out of bed. Luckily I work from home, so I just come right down by 6:45. I live in Winnipeg. My whole team is in Toronto. Actually, the business is really in Toronto, but I'm
Isn't
but
it
I'm
as
in
cold as
Winnipeg.
here? It's -20 today.
It's actually warmer. We had a major cold spell, but it's a little warmer today, which is good. And so, I'm kind of work on Toronto time. So 6:45, I'm working, and really, it's a lot of it's what you would expect from a content company. It's a lot of meetings, a lot of sitting in front of the keyboard and typing and thinking, and working with the team and having brainstorming sessions, and and then I kind of stop depending on when I have to pick up my kids or if I have a workout. So the end, 4:30, 5. So probably put in like 9 hours a day or so, at least, sometimes at night. I try not to work at night anymore. I used to be a champion night worker, but now I just find it very
Before the
difficult.
kids?
Before the kids, I'd work like
Yeah,
around the clock. It's better. It's better not to. It's better not to.
allegedly better.
Yeah, and then I come to Toronto, well, at least monthly for meetings, and then those days are, all over the place. But that's nothing too exciting, but I enjoy it.
That's fun. Do you think it's easier to work from home if you have a routine with a family?
It is. So I've been working from home since 2000. I've been working exclusively from home since 2010. So I did it before it was cool.
That's
And
true.
I
A
found,
pioneer.
yeah, that's I like to think that. So I actually find, yeah, I'm not good at working in an office because um, I like to, if you can tell, I like to talk a lot. So I'll
Mm.
go in. I actually, when I first quit my job and went on my own, I still had to come back into an office to do a project, and I like timed it. How much work did I do? And so, I walked in about 9. Talked to my friend for about half an hour, go get a coffee, come back, go for lunch, come back, get a coffee at 3. I probably got 5 hours, right? And
Mm.
so, I don't understand. I like get the collaboration. But like for me, working at home, I'm way more productive. Always have been. I can get a solid 8 to 9, sometimes more hours in. I run over. Yeah, I get my coffee at 3, but it takes 4 seconds. So you do, but the routine helps. It helps to before I had kids. I work around the clock, and I needed to do that when I was younger. Journalism's a tough business, and for me, working hard was the way that I felt I could make it, do as much as I possibly can and get as much experience as I can. And so I would work from like, you know, I'd have my job from 9 to 5, then I work from 5 to midnight. And it was hard. It was hard, family wise when you're starting to build your family. And then probably a few years ago, I'm like, okay, well, I can't do this forever, like be working around the clock. And that's when I started hiring people, and the agency started kind of picking
Yep.
up. And it's great. Stopping at 4:30 and having dinner with the kids every night. I would have a reason I also went freelance is just I wanted to be with my kids every night for dinner. So we've been able to do that. But the routine, it does help because you could do this around the clock, and then it's
Well, that's the
hard.
thing. Yeah, we've noticed, and I think some people are extremely good at working from home remotely. They have the discipline. They're productive. I think where it becomes an issue is people that maybe don't have a routine, work too much, don't really go outside, don't meet anybody else, right? They live on their own. And then when you don't interact with people for a long period of time, like in real life, right, that can affect mental health a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I felt that like when I was in Toronto, living in Toronto. I lived there for 17 years, and it was a lot easier to. I'd work from home in 2 weeks would go by, and I'd start getting antsy. I'd go for a meeting downtown. It's a little harder from Winnipeg because I don't have any work relationships here really. All my clients are in Toronto. I have like two lives, Winnipeg and then kind of business life in Toronto. So then so I go when I go once a month, I get to see people, but sometimes it is hard, and it's different going out. I go with friends, but it's sort of different. Sometimes you need to kind of connect with work people to feel sane and just talk about stuff. So some people do that like online and whatever, but not everyone's built for working from home. Like it is hard.
No.
I imagine it's hard. I don't wear sweatpants ever. I put on my jeans. I put on a sweater. It's not just for
Yeah.
you. I don't wear. I
I
try and
thought it
get
was just for
dressed.
me.
Yeah, no, it's not just for you. Sorry. And I try to get dressed because you got to kind of feel like you're going.
It's a mental thing, right? Like you get into that mindset, and I see you have probably like a home office, or at least
Yeah.
what looks like a home office. Like obviously to have a dedicated space that helps.
Yeah, we're lucky that we were able to build a home office in our house. So I do have this space. I shut the door. I don't try not to come in at night if I don't have to.
Mm,
And those that's key. Like those are some key things. But even so, some people can't do it, which is fine. That's why there are offices and people like doing
yeah,
it. I
yeah.
I like working from home.
I myself, like, I used to be full time at the office, and obviously as an owner, sometimes you really don't have a choice, right? If you have a team on site and everything. And then during COVID, I started working remote. And honestly, after a couple of years, start to feel it where it's a bit of Groundhog Day, a little bit, right? It's, like every day is similar. So honestly, I enjoy going back to the office. I try to do it 4 or 5 times a week now.
Yeah.
And it's just like so you're in the work mindset.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm totally, yeah, I see both sides really.
Yeah. I should say, like, when I come to Toronto now, with now that we have a staff, we rent offices by the day. There's so many different buildings,
Like a
and it's
WeWork type.
yeah, exactly, and
Hmm.
it's go great because we sort of rent the office closest to where we have meetings. And then so I come sort of back and forth, but everyone gets together. It's a lot of fun. We actually get to talk about stuff. And sometimes I do wish like we could spend more time together in person. It just that's not, and if I lived in Toronto still, would we have an office? Maybe, but it works. It works to get together a bit.
It's a
And
long
then
commute from Winnipeg if you have to do it every day. Yeah.
yes, the 2 hour flight. Sometimes it's shorter than some other people have to commute across Ontario. But
Actually,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if it was only like door to door flight, I guess. I'm not there
Yeah.
yet. Maybe a
Yeah.
drone eventually.
Yeah.
What do you see as the biggest challenge for you in the next couple of years? Like as you try to grow this thing, and I assume growth is your objective. It might not be, but let's assume it is. Like, what do you see
Yeah.
as a big friction point, or at least something that you need to really fix in order to get there?
I think there's so growth, yeah, growth is an objective. I mean, really our objective is like we think that there's a lot of room to tell good stories in a very easy to understand way, and a lot of companies need help with that. We
Mhm.
really just want to help businesses kind of communicate better. There are a lot of businesses that need help, so growth will come with that. But if really it's working with good people, having fun with clients, doing good work. Those are the things that motivate me and our group. I think the challenge, there's always growth challenges as an entrepreneur and building your business. So there's the same things, right? It's making sure you have enough resources to do what you need. It's
Mhm.
managing cash flow. All those things are always going to be there. And I remember interviewing businesses years ago, entrepreneurs, and them saying these same things over and over again. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. I get it now. And we're doing, we're good, but those are always the entrepreneurial challenges that you think about often. But I in terms of like our industry, just sort of back to AI. I mean, I think the sort of the challenge with AI is not that um AI is going to get so good that it's going to write the stories for us and there's no use. Like I don't think that's the issue. I think the bigger issue is media literacy and what people think is a good story. And that
Right.
that actually worries me more. If you have all of this AI slop and it's all over the place, and yeah, we can recognize what's good and bad, but like, will younger people recognize what's good and bad? Will there
Mhm.
be a point where people do they care about
Yeah.
good storytelling? Now, so if it changes where people are fine with a subpar storytelling, I still think there'll be room for brands to stick out by doing something different. But if everyone is just fine with not garbage, then we don't have a place because our goal is we don't want to create bad stuff. We want to create really good stuff on par with the best, you know, media publications in the world. That's where we got trained, right? And that's what we tell our clients. We want it to be as good as what you find in the Globe or the New York Times. If nobody cares and if media literacy just drops so much, then that's going to be a big challenge for not just us. I mean, that is a massive societal challenge.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We're already seeing, issues in democracies and and I think a lot of it
Yeah.
is because of media literacy and the way people are consuming things. And so that I mean, that's the biggest challenge, I think, for what we do is will there come a time where someone will say, actually, I don't really care if it's any good. I just want to put
You
something
just
up.
need something out
Right.
essentially.
Right. And that's, we'll keep pushing for people to do good work until, if that happens. Hopefully it won't. I am hopeful that I have kids, 3 kids. My oldest is 18. She loves to read. She likes to write. She does not like all my kids when I say, "Were you oh, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT something," they get mad at me because they don't wanna use ChatGPT, which is interesting. I don't know
Your
if they're
kids
in.
don't want to use ChatGPT?
No,
Oh, interesting.
they find it like, a shortcut, and I think they're concerned about it. And it's interesting. I don't know if they're indicative of kind of other people their age, but they seem to have sort of a negative reaction to ChatGPT. And I have to tell them, look, like you're right, but you may need to use it at some point. So don't say
In
no
some
to
ways,
it.
it's
But
the new Google, right? Where like in the past you would Google something, now you basically ask AI, right?
yeah, right. So I'm hopeful that there will be, the younger generation will be able to see things for what they are and want that authentic connection. And everyone talks about vinyl and coming back. Like, is that does that say something about our digital age that people want to
Possible
also
that
have a?
there's a pushback
So I
towards,
don't, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if that is. Vinyl's amazing. I love vinyl. Like, I don't know if that is, if we should read into something like that. Will magazines come back? I love magazines. I'm happy my kids read. I read the least, like a book. Like, I should be reading more. They inspire me to do more reading. I'm reading my daughter. I just going through my daughter's collection of books now. She's just giving me the books,
Nice.
and she's great books. So I'm hopeful that maybe quality will still reign supreme here over time. But I worry about that.
Yeah, and that's honestly, it's something we see every day, right? Like also this misinformation or disinformation, and what's
Yeah,
fake, what's real. Um,
yeah. Well, so there's that too, and that's huge. And I think for us, the way I think of it with the companies and the brands that we work with is, I think, at least in our work, I mean, I think brands have a responsibility to make sure that what they're putting out is honest and truthful. And we've never encountered anyone that's told us to do something that we wouldn't feel comfortable doing. But I think in this world of misinformation, and it's hard to know what's right. And I think there is a responsibility for companies, if they're putting out content, to make sure it's accurate and honest and ethical, because they shouldn't want to be part of this sort of this misinformation campaign. That's, or not campaign, just it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's just going to be everywhere, and they need to kind of stand out above that.
yeah, it's a bit of a race to the bottom sometimes to get news out, right? And then you don't really check, and
Right.
it spirals.
But then there's an opportunity, a real opportunity here for companies to talk directly to their customers.
Hmm.
And I think those relationships are going to be more important, where people aren't sure where to turn. They have loyalty to brands, and they have, they want to work with companies that share their values. And so if you have an audience that cares about what you do, I think there's an incredible channel here to talk to them in a real educational, authentic way that they may not get on Facebook or
Right.
Twitter, and so I think, I don't know if I don't think all brands kind of realize that, but I think a lot of the ones that we work with, the stuff we're putting out could be in the globe. Like, it's high quality stuff that I think they appreciate the knowledge of their clients and want to make sure they stay in touch with them.
Final question for you today, Brian. What's a piece of software that you could not live without, both on the personal side and then maybe on the business side?
Slack. We use Slack
Okay,
internally
good
all
good
the time. I'm
choice.
I'm sure that's a common answer, but
Not
um,
really, actually.
no. I mean,
No,
well,
most people like ERP, or something that's like core.
yeah. So we're not that advanced yet to have a full ERP system. I don't know if we can buy Oracle's ERP or whoever the other people that
I
put
wouldn't
it out,
recommend
but
that.
no. Okay, but Slack, being a remote office, like, we need to be
Yeah.
talking all the time. So the video functionality is amazing. Like, we just click. It's basically like we're in the room. I just hit video all the
Yep.
time and just
Like a
sending
huddle, a
messages.
video
A,
huddle.
a huddle, yeah. So
For some reason,
we.
huddle hasn't been working for me.
Oh,
Slack,
really?
if you're listening, fix your huddle. It's been glitchy for the past 2 months.
Well, it's been okay on our side, I guess. But the so Slack for sure is the best. I will tell you, I just bought. So I think one of the things that is important for, I don't know, for me at least, and I know other entrepreneurs feel this way, is fitness. Like, I wasn't on
Yeah.
years ago,
Okay.
didn't know anything about, yeah, fitness. Like, oh, I'm never gonna run. I'm never gonna do anything. But then I started, and there were reasons for
Oh
that.
no.
And it really gets your kind of mental health in the right space, and which is
Right.
very important as a business owner. So I just wait, hold on, I'll show you. Can I do a plug for something?
Maybe.
I just got this Aura ring. My
Oh,
wife got it for
nice.
my
Yeah, a friend of mine
birthday
has
last
that.
week, and it's really neat. I mean, I use also my watch and like just kind of tracking some of this stuff. I really just started doing it. And it's been really interesting. And
Has it like showed you, things you didn't consider like, oh yeah, I need to
well,
improve on that.
sort of. I mean, I know I don't sleep well. It's telling me that, but it's been interesting to
Now you
kind
have
of
data.
now I have data. It's been interesting to see like the days that I have slept well and like what's different about that.
Right.
How do I get more of that?
Mm.
With seeing my activity levels low, it motivates me to, okay, I need to go for a walk. And those things really matter when you work for yourself. And I'm sure for anybody, but for me, you have to sort of take care of yourself. It took me a long time to learn that. It's not just sitting in front of the computer. If you are mentally strong, or at least, taking care of yourself mentally, then you can work a lot harder. And that's taken a while to learn, but I take it seriously now.
So Slack and then Fitness Tracker.
Yeah, those are the two
Good
for now.
choices,
Yeah,
honestly.
thanks.
Yeah, I check my steps as well, like almost just to see how consistent I am every day. I'm pretty consistent. I have a dog though, so that helps.
That's good.
And I kind of I do actually, what's a big difference and daily activity is if I come to the office or not. If I stay
Yeah,
home, goes down dramatically, like
right.
50%, you know.
Well, that is the hard part of it being from home and working from home. Like I'm not walking, and I hate the
Yeah.
winter, and I live in Winnipeg, and I hate the winter, so I don't go out
You didn't
nearly
pick the
enough.
best place,
I know.
Brian.
But when I come to Toronto and I'm just walking around, my steps are like, through the roof here. So I got to find a way. I got to get out more.
Maybe like a
I have two
treadmill.
dogs, so
Oh, there we go.
treadmill, but I got to get out with my dogs more. Once the snow melts, I'm outside a lot.
My
So
dog is a big fluffy one, so he loves the winter. It's his season.
yeah, yeah.
Can't get it. We walk for 2 hours and then come back, and he wants to go out some more. So
That's amazing.
can't
Mine are
escape it.
small, so they
Oh,
they
okay.
like outside too, but not too
Yeah,
long.
yeah, yeah. Brian, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you.